Hey everyone, welcome back to PTE NAATI. This is Manmohit. In today's one, I am going to share with you all a proper plan for how do you go from a complete beginner to a master for your read aloud topic in your PTE exam. So all the tips, strategies, and every single thing that is needed for read aloud will be shared in this one. And the tips that I would be sharing for this topic, it will not just be for 65 or a 79. That would be for a perfect 90. And these are those tips that not just helped me to get a perfect 90 in my exam, not just helped Mohit get a perfect 90 in his exam, but is helping thousands of students out there getting their desired scores of either 65, 79, or even a perfect 90. Just before I proceed, if you need any help and support with your PT exam, either PT core or PT academic like online coaching that we provide, or for Nati Hindi, Punjabi, and Gujarati, feel free to message us on either Instagram or Facebook. The links are there in the description box, or you can simply search for MMPT Nati and you will find us over there. Message us, and we can help you and assist you in getting your desired scores in the very first attempt. Let's get started with this one. So, read aloud is the topic that we're going to discuss, and every single thing would be discussed in detail. So, please make sure you take good notes for this one, all the things that are working, all the things to avoid, every single thing to start from scratch and going all the way up to being an expert for the same. And I would be also giving you a sample answer at the very end by doing one read aloud, just so that you can refer to that and try to copy that and try to see if you can also get the same level of perfection, so that once you do that in the exam, you can also expect to get a perfect 90 in your PTE exam, not just in speaking, but also in the reading section. Let's have a look. The very first thing is we have to understand these three things: your fluency, pronunciation, and content. Now, what do we have to follow for all these three? Fluency, the very first thing, we just have to make sure it has nothing to do with speed. That's the very first misconception that I want to clear over here. Fluency doesn't have to do anything with your speed. Now, when I say that, it doesn't mean you have to speak very slow and you can still get your scores. You have to follow a natural speed. But at the same time, I've seen so many people out there who speak like a bullet train. That is not the way for you to speak out. You read loud. You do not have to speak very fast. And also at the same time, you do not have to speak the complete sentence in one breath for you to get your desired scores. That's not how it works. Fluency simply means your flow. How fluent do you sound? How smooth is your speech? That is what computer needs from you. And same goes with accent. You do not have to copy somebody's accent in order for you to get marks. You just have to stick to the same accent that you have been following, because Pearson can understand every single accent which is out there. So you do not have to change it just for the sake of getting more marks. Another thing you have to do is, when I was saying that you do not have to speak the complete sentence in one breath, you have to do phrasing. When you get that one sentence, you have to make sure you break that sentence down into phrases and then speak it out. At the end of this one, I would be doing one sample answer where I would be giving you a proper sample answer of how do we use phrasing, so you will understand that better. And another thing that you have to do in fluency is your rhythm and intonations, these two things, which means when you see any important keywords in a sentence, you have to stress on those words. You can't speak in a monotonous tone. You cannot speak like a robot. You have to sound like a human being. And to sound like a human being, you have to make sure whatever important words are there in a sentence, in a paragraph, you are taking your voice either louder or slower on them, depending on what type of word it is. If a word is a positive or an exciting one, you have to take your voice louder. And if a word is a very low sounding word or it's a negative kind of word, you have to take your voice slightly lower on that. So when you speak, you just have to sound like you speak like a human being and not just reading like a robot or a machine. And that is what computer would be scoring you on. Now, if you do not do that, you may end up getting your marks in speaking, but you will definitely lose marks in reading section. That is why you see so many people out there who are getting a perfect 19 speaking spot on, but reading is where they're struggling to get their marks. And that's purely because they're speaking like a robot, speaking like a bullet train so quickly, they are getting their marks deducted from the reading section. Pronunciation is all about clarity, as in making sure the words that you're speaking out, they're being heard very clearly. The clarity has to be there. When you speak out, that is why I always say to have a natural speed and do not speak too quickly. When you speak too quickly, your pronunciation gets impacted. Because what happens is when you speak too quickly, Computer can't even understand some of your words, what you said in that, especially the words which are past or present, the words which are singular or plural, those kind of words. So pronunciation, clarity has to be there. And one tip I can give you is when you speak out any of your words or any of your sentences, make sure you consciously open up your mouth as wide as possible. Use your jaw movements to take out the words properly. Move your mouth, that's very important, so that whatever words are coming out of your mouth, they sound very clear, they're very concise, the clarity has to be there on them, and that's how you get a clear pronunciation, and that's how you get your marks in the reading section. Pronunciation has to be taken care of, and also making sure that you pronounce the words correctly, obviously, and both the pronunciations are acceptable, whether it's British pronunciation, whether it's academic pronunciation, both are absolutely perfect and acceptable. So you do not have to go for one or the other. Whatever ones you are comfortable with in speaking is the one you should be going with. And for your content, content means whatever paragraph would be written in front of you, as long as you can speak all the words correctly, not adding any words, not omitting any words, not using fillers is another thing. Fillers as in sorry, all these kind of fillers. If you avoid these, you have to make sure you avoid them. That will impact your content in a better way. And making sure you're not adding any words and making sure you're not omitting any words. Whatever paragraph has been given to you, reading out that complete paragraph in a row, maintaining the sequence, and the more correct words you speak, the better your scores would be in the reading section. I would also be explaining about one-line shortcut or strategy, as some people call it, after this, just so you know what our take is on that one after this. Next one, another crucial thing, and that is using preparation time effectively, wisely. Let's say this is an exam screen. When that read aloud paragraph comes in front of you, you would be given a dialog box where they do not expect you to start to speak your answer straight away. They give you some time to prepare for a paragraph first. And that is either 30, 35, or 40 seconds. Now, 30, 35, or 40 seconds depending on the length of the paragraph. So whatever time you get, you have to make sure you utilize every single second effectively. I have seen students just wasting this preparation time. They just relax in that time, and when the recording starts, they just start speaking straight away. That is not the right way to do this topic. There is a reason computer is giving you so much time to prepare for one single paragraph. Even they want to make sure that the exam is fair because they know how important this topic is. So you have to make sure when that preparation time comes, you do not just sit there, whisper, or read the paragraph in your mind and then just wait for the recording to start. Utilize every single second effectively, properly. In those 30, 35, or 40 seconds, I want you to read out that paragraph loudly, every single word loudly. Two things you're going to do. Let's say you get 30 seconds. For the first 15 seconds, you're going to read out the paragraph once. Done. When you read out that paragraph loudly once, you will realize there would be one or two words which were difficult for you to pronounce, or you were almost fumbling on them. The remaining 15 seconds that you would have, those are the seconds where I want you to repeat those words which you fumbled upon multiple times, like 5, 7, 10, 15 times, depending on how many times you can speak out those words in the remaining seconds. Speak out those words. What would happen is when the recording starts, if you fumbled on those words during your preparation time, in the actual recording, you will not fumble on them because you've already practiced that word enough and your brain is already used to that particular word. Versus if you were just to whisper those words or read out those words in your mind, you won't even know if you can pronounce those words or not. In your mind, you might think that you can pronounce it, but when it actually comes to pronouncing the word loudly is when you might struggle. That's why that preparation time, you have to make sure you utilize it properly. Every single second has to be well used for. Next one. Now this is one thing, and this applies to your entire speaking, and that is when the recording starts. You have to make sure you start to speak within the 3 seconds, because if you do it after 3 seconds, the microphone goes off. So that means you have missed the chance to answer that particular question. And it's game over. Like you can't redo that or re-attend that question. It's gone. So you lose marks for that complete question. So make sure when the recording starts, the microphone opens up straight away. And within 3 seconds, you have to start speaking something. Otherwise, the mic will go off. And another thing you have to keep in mind is when you finish a paragraph, do not just click on the next button straight away within a second. Just take 1 second and then click on the next button. Because there is a chance if you click on next too soon or too quickly, maybe the last one or two words may not get recorded properly. There is 1 second lag in the PTE software. So make sure once you finish your answer, just 1 second gap and then click on the next button and move on. That would be the best way to make sure every single word is getting recorded properly. Next, I'm sure this is one thing you were all waiting for to hear about. One line shortcut or strategy as we call it out there. We do not recommend that at all. It's just absolutely not recommended. In saying that, we have also done recent experiments and we have tried doing that in the real exam, and yes, it absolutely works as of now, with where you just have to read one sentence 8, 10, 12 words to make sure and to see if that works or not. Yes, you do still get a full score in your speaking and in some cases in reading as well, but that's something which is a risky thing to do. Pearson might come up one day and just fix that, and you may not be able to use that in your own exam. So this is working as of today. There's no guarantee when you give your exam, let's say after a couple of weeks or after a month, what if that doesn't work? And Pearson is not going to go on their website and announce that now we have fixed it, so you can't use one line shortcut anymore. It doesn't work like that. It's all about when Pearson decides to fix it. So why take that risk? Exam is not cheap now. It's very expensive. So we just want to do that right thing and get our scores, not follow these kind of shortcuts which are there for some time and it may not be there in the future. So why jeopardize your marks and money for no reason? So please make sure, read out the complete paragraph. Worst case scenario, if there's one word in a paragraph which you're unsure of how to pronounce, just skip that word to maintain your flow. Yes, you will lose marks for that, but at least not too many as compared to if you were just to read out one sentence. And in one sentence, if you make one or two mistakes, it's game over. Like you may get your scores in speaking, but definitely your reading section is going to be impacted. So please make sure you avoid using that. It's not something we recommend. Not just to you guys, even our enrolled live students in our coaching packages too, we never recommend these because we have personally seen some students not getting their scores in reading section. We do not want that to happen. We want to make sure everyone gives their exam and get it in the first try instead of giving exam 5, 10, 15 times and not even knowing what's going on. Now, one last thing, let's have a look at this example now. So that's an example paragraph. So all these things that we have just discussed is now going to come into play, is now going to come into practice because we are going to follow all these little things and create a perfect read aloud response. Now, when you read out this paragraph, you obviously get those 30, 35 or 40 seconds to prepare an answer. In that time is when you're going to speak out this paragraph once loudly. Around 250 million years ago, 700 species of reptiles closely related to the modern day crocodile roamed the earth. Now, new research reveals how a complex interplay between climate change, species competition, and habitat can help explain why just 23 species of crocodile survive today. So when you get that preparation time, you just read out that one paragraph and see what words you felt that you fumbled upon. So for example, if for me, the word was interplay, complex, competition, species, habitat, explain, roamed, crocodile, modern day, whatever words you feel like you may fumble upon, you should just speak them out again and again and utilize that preparation time. Now, fluency, I'm just going to maintain a natural speed. And for my phrasing, what I'm going to do is wherever I see any punctuations or wherever I see any sort of connectors is where I'm going to take a slight pause. Not too long of a pause, just a small little pause and then moving on. And then making sure that whatever important keywords are there in a paragraph, I'm taking my voice louder on them. Words like 250 million years ago. Now that's an important keyword and a big number, so I will raise my voice on that. 700 species. Instead of saying 700 species, I will say 700 species. So I will take my voice slightly louder on those. This modern day crocodile. New research reveals how any type of these questions, why, how, I am going to have a rhythm when I speak. I'm not just going to say how a complex interplay, how a complex interplay, how a complex interplay. Why just 23 species? Not why just 23 species, Why just 23 species? The more you intonate on these words, the better your scores are going to be in the reading section. This is what you have to do to increase your marks in the reading part. Now, what I would do is I'll speak out this paragraph in a flow just to show you what have I done. And after that, I wanted to reverse this video and listen to this answer again and again, and then try to enact the same by pausing the video to see if you can speak the same thing or not. And that will help you to increase your scores, not just in read aloud, but your overall reading and speaking. Now, around 250 million years ago, 700 species of reptiles closely related to the modern day crocodile roamed the earth. Now, new research reveals how a complex interplay between climate change, species competition, and habitat can help explain why just 23 species of crocodiles survive today. That's all you have to do. But if you realize in this small answer, how many things did I follow? I did not read one complete sentence in one breath. I broke that sentence in different chunks, in different phrases. And whatever important keywords were there, I raised my voice slightly on them. Wherever I saw any sort of punctuations or connectors, I took a slight pause over there and speaking out in my own accent, did not copy anyone's accent, did not add any words, did not omit any words, did not change the sequence of the words. And this is how I was able to complete and provide a perfect answer for a perfect 90 in your read aloud. And not just in speaking, like I said, also in the reading section. Like I said, I want you to rewind this video, play this paragraph again and see how did I follow all these things, and then try to enact that, and then practice accordingly, practice other paragraphs following the same strategies. And I can assure you, you will definitely be able to get a perfect 90 or 65 or 79 or whatever your desired score is, and you will be able to nail this exam. If you need online coaching from us, me and Mohit, feel free to message us on either Instagram or Facebook. Links are in the description, or simply search for M&MM PT NAATI. Message us there. We will be there. Admin will be there. They will be able to discuss everything with you, and we will assist you in clearing these exams in the very first attempt. Guys, God bless all of you. Stay safe wherever you are, and I will see you all in the next one.